Good afternoon. My name is Sara Rich, and in 2003, I was a single mother of 3 dynamic children, and I was the head of the Human Rights Commission in my city. No way in the world would I ever think that I'd be sitting here today, a mother of an Iraq veteran against the war, and a war resistor, and a military sexual assault survivor. My daughter joined the military, and people keep saying, how did this happen to you? I was raised on a commune with hippies. How did this happen that you had a daughter who went into the military and went to Iraq? And like Hanan says, it's a very surreal experience. The amazing feeling to watch your baby leave and be deployed to a combat zone is something I don't think I'll ever get over. Seeing her leave, telling her she was my hero, that she was so brave. It's really humbling to be sitting here with everybody today, because I really, every time I meet another Iraq vet against the war, I just cannot get over the feeling of pride that I have for them as I have for my daughter Suzanne. Gosh, the things that Suzanne went through in Iraq are I still don't know everything, and I don't think I ever will. She'd call me from Iraq and tell me about, Mom, these people are so dirty. Why are they so dirty? They don't take care of their children. They don't take care of their environment. There's trash everywhere. There's dead people everywhere. And so I had to explain to her, well, Suzanne, it's a war zone. People can't focus on their, the environment if they can't figure out where they're going to sleep or where they're going to eat. What an amazing place for a 19-year-old to learn about hierarchy of needs and what people need to survive and to live. One of the things that, when the recruiter told Suzanne that she would not be deployed to Iraq, I was one of those people that believed them. I didn't know it was a joke that military recruiters don't tell the truth. I really didn't understand that. So she gets to Iraq, and the first day she's there, she reports back to me that her commanding officer is hitting on her. And when Suzanne got back from boot camp, she was all Army. Who the hell is this kid? And I suggested that maybe she go and take some things with her to Iraq, and she said, Mom, people don't have sex on deployments. And she was absolutely serious. So when she gets there, this 19-year-old girl in the combat zone, and her platoon sergeant, so that's 5 people above her, her platoon sergeant looks at her and says, hey, Swift, let's do this. And she said no. She told her equal opportunity officer, and he did nothing. So she goes about her business, and she's calling me, telling me about this, about all the guys and what they're saying to her. And she said, Mom, in the Army, women are seen as either bitches, dykes, or whores. She goes, I don't want to be any of those things. I just want to be a soldier and do my job and just be somebody's friend. But you can't do that, is what she would explain to me. One of the things about being a military mom is you can't focus on worrying, because if you worry, then she's going to worry. And my daughter and I are pretty tight, and so I had to be really calm. I never told her I missed her. I never told her I was worried about her. I always said, you be smart. You be smart. You watch out for yourself. You're going to be great. You're doing awesome. I'm so proud of you. Because I knew that if she thought I was worried about her, oh my God, would she be so worried about me? So you just have to hunker down and just kind of put your head down. You live with your cell phone and your computer, because that's one of your lifelines to your kid. And you cancel your newspapers because you don't want to see how many dead people or how many dead soldiers were killed in Iraq today. You cancel your cable service because you don't want the war invading your life any more than it already has on such a primal level. So Suzanne starts telling me about this, not platoon, but her squad leader, and how he is starting to hit on her. And they enter into a sexual relationship that she doesn't want, and she doesn't know how to get out of it, and she's scared. And so finally I start calling my congressman, and you're right, if their lips move, they're lying. They're lying. They're liars. She tells me about what he's doing to her, and I start asking for help. But she's too scared for me to ask for help for her because she doesn't know what this man will do. It's very interesting that this man's name, his initials are M. Lester. So I always said, how's the molester doing? And I always called him the molester. Back then, I didn't understand what military sexual trauma was. I didn't know there was a term for it. I didn't know what command rape meant. I'm still really just shocked about what happened to Suzanne. And like I said, I don't even know half the things that she really witnessed or went through. Things I heard about the combat she saw, because she was a Humvee driver. Should I say what she was? Okay, she was a specialist in the Army with the 66th MP Company from Fort Lewis, stationed in Karbala from February 2004 to February 2005. She drove a Humvee during combat patrol. She was a military police officer. And then she was arrested and then court-martialed her and took away all of her rank, and now she's a specialist still back again because she's earned her rank back. And she's still in the military. What was I saying? Notes. I was really shocked by the amount of sexism and racism that was happening in the U.S. Army. The things that Suzanne would report to me about calling people Hajis, and the way that they had to tear people down so they could not see them as humans. But she was very upset when she befriended the interpreters. And the interpreters would go home to their children and she'd tell them about their families and about the interpreters. And one of the interpreters was beheaded when he went home, and they put his head on his car and said, this is what you get for helping the U.S. military. This really choked Suzanne up. Another thing that happened when Suzanne was there was kind of a Pat Tillman death. Her friend Jesse Berger was killed. The U.S. military told the mother that it was a car accident, whereas he was really shot. Then they told her that it was a Turkish army where the bullets came from, and the Turkish army had no record of that. So to this day, Peggy Berger is still waiting to find out how her son Jesse, who died on May 5th, 2005, died. So Suzanne gets out of the military, and I say, now can we say something about the sexual abuse and harassment that she went through? And she says, no, we can't do anything about that. They start her process to redeploy her 11 months after her initial deployment. And I always have told her, we can get you out of here. We'll get you out of here. You do not have to go back.